Welcome to App Design Tips. Let's talk about plugins and which ones I recommend in 2020. I created a similar video last year and it's the most popular video on my channel, so I thought, why not make this an annual thing? Now, be sure to stick around to the end because we've got some swag from Adobe XD to give away. Sweetie swag! The swag we're going to be giving away is this Design at the Speed of Thought mug. We've got a few of these mugs here to give away. So very nice to add to your design arsenal. And we've got some sketchbooks here, some Adobe XD sketchbooks we're going to be giving away, along with some pencils. And if you want to stylize your laptop or computer or anything else, we've got a ton of Adobe XD stickers. So again, stick around to the end. I'm going to let you know how you can win some of this swag. The plugin community for XD has really grown up in the last year, and we now have some surprising and amazing plugins. If you want to check out any of the plugins I've mentioned, you can open Adobe XD, click on the plugins panel, and click the plus icon to open the Discover Plugins panel. From here, you can search any plugin mentioned and click Install. I'm going to get started with some of the more essential plugins, and then I'll work my way up to the more dazzling plugins near the end. First, we'll splash right in with Photosplash. There are other plugins out there that allow you to include photos from royalty-free image resources like unsplash.com, but this plugin is the most automated approach. Simply select one or more shapes, search for the type of image you want, and you can click Apply to randomly apply some images, or you can change the selection of images. That's it. Moving on to icons for design. This is a free resource of icons you can use in your designs, and they're completely edit-friendly. There are many other icon plugins in Adobe XD, but this one stands out to me because of the way icons are categorized by their styles. You can also set the bounding sizes before you add them to your project. The UI Faces plugin lets you dump random faces on top of any shape in Adobe XD. Select the shape you want to include your avatars in, and then choose where you want to pull these images from a list of 7 websites. You can also filter between age range, gender, emotion, hair color, and more. Let's try some blonde avatars, and then we'll try some with some black hair. Now, if you're enjoying this video and you're new to Adobe XD, I have a complete course on Adobe XD where I cover everything from learning the interface to designing and prototyping an app together from scratch. It includes exercise files you can use to follow right along with me. And if you're interested, I've included the link in the description with a huge discount because my YouTube fans are my favorite peeps. Toolkit is another plugin I use, and this plugin has many different simple features built into one. And all of them have a handy little keyboard shortcut. You can find and replace text, swap the positions of any 2 selected items, clean up groups, swap the fill and border, and get photos from Unsplash. You can also add lorem ipsum text to any text box. Now, although there are many features in this plugin, they're not all great, and there are plugins that do some things better than Toolkit. For example, I use Photosplash 2 for all of my images, and I don't use Unsplash It tool featured in this plugin. With that being said though, there are some helpful tools I use all the time. The lorem ipsum has a handy shortcut, so any text box I select, I can press the magic keyboard shortcut and random gibberish appears. I resize the toolbox and press those keys again, and new text appears to fill in the space. Swapping items and swapping the fill and border are also very helpful with these shortcuts at times, which is why I like to keep this plugin in my arsenal. Undraw is a plugin full of many illustrations you can use for landing pages, onboarding, presentations, or anything else your heart desires. And if you have colors saved in your assets, the plugin will let you select the primary color you want to use, and the illustration will save in your project with your brand colors already implemented. These illustrations are completely editable too, so feel free to increase the helium in that balloon or fudge the stats a little. Web Export is a plugin that will let you export any artboards into a web page. Oftentimes, tools like this will output websites in code that's very difficult to work with and accomplish the end result, but this plugin may still have real use for some people. I can see those wanting to quickly publish a marketing landing page or a micro app where they don't need a ton of flexibility, and a tool like this can get them on the ground running fast. With this web export tool, it can do more for you the more you know about HTML and CSS. They have many options for integrating your designs into current CSS styles, but if all this is confusing to you, you can at least know you're getting a pixel-perfect web page of your design that's ready to publish on your site. Wireframer is a plugin that lets you browse through many wireframes and bring them right into your projects to start things off. Wireframer also has categories like onboarding, news, feed, and more, so you can drill right into the types of wireframes your project requires. These wireframes are completely editable, and you can change the colors and update the styles to meet your style guide and make it your own. This plugin can save you countless hours as you're mocking up quick concepts to test or demonstrate. The Overflow plugin lets you sync your artboards to the Overflow app so you can create interactive diagrams and flows of your app to present to others. Just select the artboard you want and click Sync to Overflow. Now, you have to make sure that the Overflow app is installed for this to work, but after you sync, you'll find all of your artboards in Overflow, and you can even include your XD interactions in the sync, which are automatically converted to links in Overflow. After all this work, inside Overflow, you can continue adding hotspots or other elements to the artboards and add text to the connecting lines. When you're ready to present, just click the play button, and you can click any hotspot to jump to the corresponding board. Or you can view it in full prototype mode, which, let's be honest, would work much better directly in Adobe XD if that's your goal. But the strength in this tool is in visualizing the flow in an easy-to-follow diagram. You can even include multiple connecting lines showing, for example, a style for your primary user flow, a different style for alternative flows, and maybe a style to show how you'd go back in the interface. The whole experience is really simple, and if your artboards in XD ever change, just sync again, and as long as the artboards are named the same, they will update directly in Overflow. The Smart Layout plugin is one I'm most excited about, mainly because of its potential. I think this is a feature that needs to live natively in XD in a more robust and automatic way, but this plugin can show us the start of something powerful and how layouts tend to work similar to web pages and apps. If you stack one element completely inside of another and click Convert to Smart Layout, the larger element turns into a background, and you can set the padding, which is most commonly used for buttons. If you have elements that do not fit completely inside of each other and you click this Convert to Smart Layout, they will stack vertically or horizontally, and you can move each element up or down or left and right. Now, although I converted this to a smart layout, I still have control over setting a background for these elements to sit behind. Let's take this rectangle for example. I can select this and choose Is Background, and automatically all the other elements stack and the backgrounds expand to fit. If I change the text on a button or stretch the size of one of these shapes and click Update Layout, everything in the project updates to fit the padding and gap between elements that I previously set up. The last plugin is Tiled. This Tiled plugin lets you sync your screens and hotspots from XD to the Tiled app. The Tiled app is a standalone app which lets you add hotspots, images, scroll interfaces, and more directly in the app, but if you're starting with XD designs, this plugin comes in a lot more handy than manually importing your images. And this allows you to create interactive micro apps which you can include rich media, videos, interactive elements, and more. A great example of when this would come in handy is if your company has a PDF or brochures they use to present something, you can redesign this into an interactive iPad app and bring the experience more to life. Some of the other more functional elements you can include in your micro apps are Google Forms or anything with an embedded code snippet. So that's it for the top 10 Adobe XD plugins. There are many other great plugins I've not mentioned, so please put your Explorer cap on and install as many plugins as you'd like to try out and see how it can improve your design workflow. Now on to the giveaway. To enter for this giveaway, I want you to leave a comment telling me which plugin is your favorite and why. Even if it's a plugin I didn't mention in this video, I want to hear what you have found the most helpful or fun to use in Adobe XD. I'm going to randomly select a bunch of winners from these comments, so I look forward to hearing from you, and one of these guys might have your name on it. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of future tips and tricks.